My name is Tami Gabriel Noble.
And my name is Mark Noble.
I grew up in a Christian home. Mom and Dad were Christian. We went to church. I was in youth group, went to Christian camps, and then somewhere along the line I just strayed and did my own thing and was probably as far away from God as I possibly could have been.
Well, to start off, I was raised Roman Catholic when I was younger, CCD, catechism, all that. It was one of those, my mother dropped me off at church and picked me up. I kind of just strayed away from it after everything was done, after high school and whatnot. Since then, I pretty much got married, had a couple kids, got divorced, kept the kids, and still didn't have God in our life or whatnot. Raised my kids, they left, then it was time for me, I thought in my head, to celebrate my life. Going out drinking, hanging out with people, doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing.
I remember when Naomi was 3 months old and I heard the helicopter and found out later that that was when the church had burned down. And something that day was just like, I need to get back. And that's when it was in the gym and came back. She was 3 months old and been coming ever since.
I started coming back to church when Tami, she decided she was going to church. And I actually stayed home a couple of times. And then I don't know what brought it up. You asked me to come?
No, you said, do you want me to go to church with you? And I said, I would love for you to come to
Right.
church with me, but I want for you to want to. And
So I ended up coming to church, like she said, and I actually remember the day that Tami asked Jesus into her life was talking to you, and I was sitting behind her and heard everything you said, and I remember repeating and silently everything that she said. And that's pretty much when I, came to the Lord.
I have to actually say, since I've taken Mal Baker's Bible study class and it was about work, I kind of reshaped how I was going to work and work around a lot of negative.
Thinking about work, yeah.
Right, a lot of
the same
negative
thing.
people too, and you can fall into gossip and stuff, and I just kept Mal's study in my head, and I noticed people at work were starting to say, why are you always so happy and you're always smiling in this place?
I get
that's
the
so
opposite. I get the guys they call me grumpy at work. They do. They said they're like, you're always so grumpy. I'm just like, well, look what I got to deal with,
Exactly.
She even says it at home. What do you call me grumpy at home too?
Grumpy's still skin.
Yeah, so it's the only time I'm happy is when I'm grumpy, So I get up in the morning and pretty much the same thing. When I go to work, I listen to either Caleb or I listen to preachers, and I pray while I'm going to work. It's not the only time, but it's most of the time praying when I go to work and when I come home.
I feel, especially within my church and getting to know some of the other Christians in this church and going to ladies' Bible studies, and just everybody's just always available. They're willing to stop and pray for you. They encourage you. They support you. It's become a family. And I just have noticed that at church, definitely people are there and they support you.
Going to the Bible studies that are here, hanging out with the guys, talking about, everything that, should be talked about, and it's not always the church, it's not always about God, it's just everyday thing, fishing, doing
So
everything.
you found Christians to fish with or Christians to go shooting with.
Right, that's the thing, I like shooting, I like going to the range, so found people in here that like doing that, It's good to be around people that, godly.
Have the same goal.
The same goal,
goals.
godly,
When I was raising the boys, we only went to church for Christmas, but with Naomi, we made the decision to send her to a Christian school, and even though that's a financial struggle, it's the best decision.
It was for many years, especially when
I was in school.
She was in school going to become a nurse. I was she worked a little bit, but I was pretty much working, and we had to pay tuition for her to go to school, and we prayed to God somehow to be able to do it, and the money always ended up there. Just by the skin of our teeth. It was, just enough to get by. It wasn't like we got lumps of money and
but we had what we needed.
Obviously, God wants her just as much as she wants God, so He made it work so she could be in there.
And also with Naomi, we bring her to church. We try to set the example at home. I always pray to be a good example of a Christian mother and wife, and she knows that Christ is number one. I remember the day when we told her that we love God and then husband and wife and then children, and she said, what? You don't love me first? And, I showed her in the Bible verse, and she's like, oh, all right, I get it.
She asked for, Christ to come into her life.
Wow.
Yeah, we did a little mother-daughter I learned about it with the parenting class, so we did a little mother-daughter retreat to talk about some important things, and on the way there we stopped and pulled over, and she accepted Christ into her life.
When Jesus, that's the first thing that comes to mind, that he died for us on the cross, and for someone to do that for us, because I don't think I could do it for someone, I mean, I can't say that. I could probably do it for a family member, but just...
He did that for his enemies.
Right, I don't think I could have myself killed for the world, I'm all set, especially this world. It's just,